ya vyama ama mambo mingi. Kwa hiyo Speaker, vitu kama hizi inakuja ni vitu ya kufanya watu wakosane, kwa sababu hata nakumbuka mwaka jana wakati nilisema sitaunga mkono, tuliambiwa tuandike barua tuweze kupeleka kwa wale watu wanaangalia vile pesa mgaya pesa inafanyika. Na Speaker, nikaongea na governor na akaandika kila kitu, na mambo ya ajabu siku ya leo Embu County haiko kwa hii karatasi tu, iko county 40 na ine zile zimepata pesa, na Speaker Embu County haiko hapa. Kwa hiyo Speaker, ningeomba wakati ule mwingine Embu iweze kuangaliwa. Na Speaker, nikimalizia mimi nasema Speaker, hata kama ni nani atakuja kuniambia niweze kuunga hii wakati tutaenda kuweka kura, nasema Speaker, hii nitapinga. Kwa hiyo Speaker, napinga na sina maneno mingi. Ni mimi Senator wa Embu County, Senator Alexander Mudigi. Asante Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Mudigi. Senator Beatrice Akinyi Ogon.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this bill referred to as the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill 2025. And from the onset, Madam Speaker, I want to request my colleague Senator Mudigi that when the time comes, he should rethink and support this bill. Madam Speaker, I want to request him because in this country, there is a key tenet that everybody looks forward to, the issue of equity. And this bill, Madam Speaker, with the monies that have been spelled out, will find that services will be granted to counties that would have otherwise been disadvantaged with the little funds that they receive, Madam Speaker. And I want to tell Senator Mudigi that it is only a very unwise person that do not change their minds. So when the time comes, with the wisdom I see in you, Daktari, consider changing your mind to support this bill. And so, Madam Speaker, I support this bill. Madam Speaker, our people need critical services that have been spelled out in this bill. The services of water, the services of roads, the services of health, and the services of electricity, Madam Speaker. Those are public services that each Kenyan needs to be sure that they will be provided with. But it is because of the limitations, Madam Speaker, and it is because of the marginalized areas, some of the marginalized areas we have in this country, that they are not able to get these services. And so if in our wisdom we see that certain counties need to be given an extra coin just to ensure that there will be equity in terms of services that the people need, then, Madam Speaker, I support this bill. Madam Speaker, the critical services of water. Water is so critical, Madam Speaker. It is a basic need, and every Kenyan really requires to have water within some small radius, Madam Speaker. Even the issue of roads. Madam Speaker, I'm happy, and I want to support this. There is 16 billion that has been set aside to be distributed, and of course, it could not have been distributed equally because these areas have different parameters. But, Madam Speaker, I'm happy Homa Bay County has 214 million, 2896, 965 shillings. Madam Speaker, this may look small money, and even a number of speakers have said the monies we have here, 16 billion, is a little money. But, Madam Speaker, it is better to start with something small so that our people can see the beginning of the provision of these services. In Homa Bay County, Madam Speaker, the criteria goes ahead to give 4 sub-counties some little money to share from the 214. We have Homa Bay Town constituency being given 10 million, Suba North constituency has 29 million, only Boni Halwale. And Boni should stop to listen that Ndewa constituency, which is my constituency, which is a marginalized constituency, we should be considered as a hardship constituency. Boni we have, Ndewa has black cotton soil, Madam Speaker, and we have no roads, Madam Speaker. And that is why I'm delighted that from the 214 million, Ndewa constituency has been granted some 120 million, Madam Speaker. I therefore want to support, but to go ahead to say that this money, when it gets there, it must be ring-fenced for the purpose of which it has been granted, Madam Speaker. In Homa Bay, Suba North has 53 million, and as I've said, Suba South has 53 million, Suba North 29, and Ndewa, which is my constituency, is 120 million. Madam Speaker, I do not support it just because it is my constituency, but I support it because of the difficulties that our people have. Right now, there are rains in Ndewa constituency. You can hardly get a road other than the tarmac road that we used to move from Rodi, that is in Homa Bay town constituency, to Sori, Madam Speaker. Any other road beyond that tarmac road is not motorable, as I speak to you, Madam Speaker. Only last week, I was at home, and Madam Speaker, even a road that we used to move from the sub-county, from the constituency headquarters, next to the CDF offices, that traverses my ward, Madam Speaker, you can hardly move in it. So it has made our people's life to be miserable, Madam Speaker. Transport is expensive, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, just months ago, in a place where our local people would use a motorbike for 50 shillings, Madam Speaker, and that is not a very far area. Madam Speaker, today, all our people are required to, it costs our people 300 to 500 shillings to just move in a very short distance. And Madam Speaker, it then means that even the cost of doing business for our people is so high. Madam Speaker, where I come from, a majority of people do subsistence farming. People who grow some vegetables and transport it to the markets, some tomatoes and transport it to the markets, some maize, some groundnuts, some beans, Madam Speaker, but it is becoming very expensive for our farmers to move their goods from their homes, from their farms, even to the market. And so, Madam Speaker, when some funds are appropriated to improve our roads, Madam Speaker, I would only rise here to support that bill. Madam Speaker, even the issue of water. Madam Speaker, being a woman, I know how critical access to water is to our people, and especially to women, Madam Speaker. So if we have money that is going towards the development of water so that our people can get water closest to them, then I would definitely support that bill. So, Madam Speaker, the other critical service that this monies will support is the issue of health facilities. Madam Speaker, health is critical. Some of these basic services that are spelled here for support are the major services that our people demanded to be devolved, Madam Speaker. And so I want to support this because, Madam Speaker, health facilities will be improved, if not expanded or improved, as I say, and we hope with this little money, Madam Speaker, those who are going to use it will ensure that our people have essential services in the health facility. Madam Speaker, the other critical service that is spelled out here to be used with the funds that are appropriated here, that are going to be appropriated here, is the issue of electricity. Madam Speaker, I still want to come back to my constituency, which is Ndewa, that our people still do not have adequate access to electricity. Just the other month, the President was launching the last mile connectivity in my constituency. And Madam Speaker, if you remember, I was here asking the CS Energy to confirm to me and reassure me as somebody from their constituency that other than the launch will translate into our people getting electricity in the last mile connectivity. Madam Speaker, some 1 year ago on this same floor, I'd raised the issue of even faulty transformers in my constituency and in my county. And so I'm happy that these monies are going to help to improve access to electricity for my people in Homa Bay County, and particularly in their constituency where I come from. In that constituency, Madam Speaker, there are all the faulty transformers. Of the inventory that were given by the CS Energy, once in this house, Madam Speaker, and there was a promise that the CS made that those transformers they are going to be corrected, Madam Speaker. But I want to tell you that up to now, even the inventory of the specific transformers that the CS spelled out would be improved in that year, they are still not working. Half of my constituency still is in black, is in darkness, Madam Speaker. But with the last launch that we have, I'm looking forward that something will be done, and I'm happy that the amount of money that has been given in this equalization fund, Madam Speaker, is going to go ahead to support the improvement of electricity, not only in my constituency, but in other constituencies, as spelled out, is going to help in improving roads, and especially, Madam Speaker, we keep on saying that our people should develop themselves, should go for, grow themselves. But Madam Speaker, it is not easy for our people to even grow, to come up if there are not roads from where they come from. Madam Speaker, over 60 years after independence, we should not see some of our areas with no roads, as I see in my constituency, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I want to support this bill, and I want to say that the monies that will be appropriated here will lead to equity in services across the country, will lead to equality in services across our country, and I'm happy it is specific about water, about roads, about health, and about electricity. But, Madam Speaker, as I support this bill, I want to say that the money might not be adequate, but let us take this for now and let us improve on it in the coming years. Madam Speaker, I support.
Thank you, Senator Beatrice. Senator Mariam Sheikh Omar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I also rise to support the bill, equalization bill. Madam Speaker, this equalization fund was established in the Act 204 of the Constitution, Madam Speaker. The figure of the fund is 0.5% of nationally collected revenue nationally. Madam Speaker, and this money fund is, the purpose of the fund is to reduce or to eradicate inequality in the counties, and also to ensure the equitable access to service delivery. Madam Speaker, the services, most of them is water, roads, electricity, and health, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this bill is where it requires, to use the fund, we require a framework. So that's why we need this bill to be in place so that we can use the equitable equalization fund to be utilized. Because the way it is before, if it is a fund, you cannot access the fund without the framework. So this is the one of the framework to almost 352 project has been done and it's completed. Madam Speaker, in my county, in Mandera County, Madam Speaker, the amount which has been given is almost 1.2 billion, Madam Speaker. For Banissa, the 157 million. Lafe is 247 million. Mandera East, 209 million. Mandera North is 231 million. North and Mandera South is 227 million. Mandera West is 157 million, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, these monies is almost 1.2 billion. If it is utilized properly, Madam Speaker, we don't have the issue of water, the issue of health service, health facilities to be having good services, and electricity, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, 60 years ago, since independence, Mandera County doesn't have road. Madam Speaker, the equalization fund was implemented. It has not been implemented since it has been established, that is 13 years ago. Madam Speaker, if this money can be, instead of giving portion, because the way they are giving out, there is redundancy, Madam Speaker. There is bureaucracy, because you request through the control of budgets, through equalization fund advisory board to the treasury, Madam Speaker. That long queue of requisition might take long to get the money back and use for the purpose on time. So to reduce that, to my opinion, there's no need of this equalization fund board, because if at all the money can be requested through country control of budget, after that national treasury, why to go to advisory board is one of the issue which makes this implementation to take long. Madam Speaker, the road into Mandera and electricity, Madam Speaker, we have a problem with electricity in down. Madam Speaker, last 6 months ago, we are in darkness. Later on, the ministry give us some generator, Madam Speaker, instead of solarizing, because we have a nature which is enough to give lights to Mandera, the whole Mandera County, Madam Speaker. So it needs now, the government must think of, instead of purchasing the generators, Madam Speaker, it's better people think of how to use the nature, the sun, which is plenty, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the road from Mandera to Nairobi, Madam Speaker, it is under now the World Bank, Madam Speaker, which His Excellency promised by the end of this term, he will implement and complete, Madam Speaker, the promises. So, Madam Speaker, we as Mandera County, we appreciate the way he take the initiative to complete Isiolo Mandera County Road to Mandera County Road. Madam Speaker, the health facility, Madam Speaker, with this equalization fund, we have KMTC, which is now in Mandera County, which our people, almost 1,000 something, 2,000 students are learning through this fund, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, water service, Madam Speaker, We as Mandera County, Madam Speaker, we have to think of how to help our people, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when it comes to water issues, women are most affected one because we carry water on long distance. We take care of the water, the family issues with water, Madam Speaker. As a women representative, Madam Speaker, the county government must take priorities, because priorities of solving the issue of water issues so that the women can be engaged in another activities which is not searching for water of their rights, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, again, 90% of the voters in all 47 counties are women. So they have to put in place how to help them through, that is the facility which can take them, they can affect them rightly is water and health facility, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, through SHA is when now the health facilities at least it's coming up, because people are not paying money, and SHA is at least working to sort out people on the ground in a facility, 4 levels, in levels of the hospitals, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, to manage this equalization fund, Madam Speaker, we need a strategy. If the government, with the request, give us this money in portions, this 1.2, if you do it at once or twice quarterly, Madam Speaker, it is effective. But if you are giving them in bits at 1 million or 2 million or 3 million, Madam Speaker, it cannot be eradicated, this marginalized equality in a county issues. So it must be, we have to sit down and think of what is the function of the fund. One is equalizations, yes, to eradicate the marginalized areas, to have the facilities of water and road. But if given in bits, Madam Speaker, it is more of difficult to help how to improve in this. Madam Speaker, for when it comes to, Madam Speaker, we need also to improve on irrigation, Madam Speaker. In northern Kenya, our economic sector is on pastoralist. Madam Speaker, we have to change our mindsets from the pastoralists, from livestock to agriculture through this fund by coming up with irrigations, the major dams, by harvesting some this flood water. That is harvested, it can take us, if we harvest a dam, major dams, it can take us almost 2 years or 3 years, and we can change the status of our people through agriculture, through irrigation, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with that, I support the bill. Thank you.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to contribute to this bill. Honorable Speaker, Equalization Fund was done, formatted in 2004. And the purpose was to bring at bar, in terms of development and achievements, 14 counties that have been neglected for many years, including my county. And the funds were not released immediately, and it stayed for a long time in the treasury before it was distributed. However, it accumulated a lot of money, and to date, the money is being released in piecemeal. My county now is receiving 1.6 billion, but this actually is significant because it has been, again, split into small bits of money, like a million, 1.5 million, 1.58 million, 88 million. This money, if well utilized, would have made some significant improvement. However, when it went through counties, the money was further split into small pieces, small funds, money. That the purpose of, having one major project that will benefit, that will have a long-term benefit, cannot be achieved because this money was split further. A committee was formed, and now it's actually under the control of the governor. And now the money is now being used to lure some supporters and all these things. That the money is being distributed in piecemeal, like 2 million for a project, 1 something million, 3 million. So it misses the whole purpose. One other thing, Your Honorable Speaker, that this money was initially meant for 14 counties. But of course, probably many other counties had similar problems, and now there are 34 counties, of which the 16 billion that has been released is actually insignificant for these counties to make a big stride on development. Honorable Speaker, it is the only way we can be able to achieve something in these counties, the counties like in northern Kenya especially, in Turkana, Wajir, to come at bar with other part of Kenyans in terms of development, is to have a major investment in development. That mega dams, when you give a small area or a certain center 1 million or 2 million shillings for electricity, I think it doesn't meet the purpose. When you give that same money to build one classroom, it doesn't meet the purpose. The intention of this money was at least have a mega project for these areas so that at least they can be able to catch up in terms of food security, in terms of electricity supply, in terms of water supply. But as it is now, the CDF, the Economic Fund has missed its target and purposes. There's a lot of money that is being held still in the Treasury. I don't know whether money is still there or it has been diverted, because it happens always when money going to the arid areas, normally are being diverted always by respective governments. And therefore, what I want to say is that as much as we appreciate that this fund at least is going to make a difference, but however, as it is, I think it will not make a purpose for us today as Northern Kenya people, because the development is far-fetched. That what is now remaining, it was only for 20 years, actually. The whole purpose, development was, the money was meant for 20 years. So they believe that by 20 years, these counties will be able to develop well. The county of Wajir, Tana River, Mandera, Garissa, Turkana, and then all these places. But today, the CDF was only seeing that we're seeing that is making some impact on the ground. But of course, the money now again, at a lot of bureaucracies. It goes through the COB, it goes through the governors, it goes through the advisory board, and it's actually budgeting is not done at the counties. It is being done at the advisory board. Therefore, when you give a certain project of 2 billion shillings, or 1.5 million, then I think that is a very wrong approach for development. Honorable Speaker, I will urge that the period remaining out of the 20 years is, I think only remaining now is about 6 years now. So for those 6 years, so at least to achieve something good, all the funds that have been held in treasury should be released and should be given in small bits, so at least we can have a major impact and development can be done for the few remaining years. Otherwise, the time frame should be reviewed, not 20 years now, so I think we should also increase the time so that we can have a significant development for these areas. And then giving to 0.5% is also not something that can actually help, funds that can be able to help those areas in terms of development, because the roads are just wanting. There are no roads now. The water is scarce. There's, always droughts have been coming every 5 years. There's drought. Food security actually is also a problem, and therefore I will request Treasury and the government and those who are making the budget to at least look into reviewing the period for this kind of this money, ecology funds. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support the motion.
Senator Hamida.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also rise to support the Equalization Fund, Madam Speaker, bill, which seeks to give efforts to Article 204 of the Constitution by provision of the release and use of Kenya shilling 16.8 billion from the Equalization Fund for the financial year 2025 and 2026. Madam Speaker, I will only touch on a few key areas so as not to repeat what has been contributed. I looked at the rationale for the bill, and the purpose it seeks to facilitate and access essential basic services, namely water, roads, health facilities, and electricity, Madam Speaker. It's also the marginalized areas, and it really brings, the goal it's bringing, it's more or less brings a parity with the rest of the country. This bill, Madam Speaker, provides a legal and structured framework that is required by the Constitutional and Public Finance Management Act, PFM Act, that ensures that these funds are properly disbursed and utilized, Madam Speaker. Over a decade into devolution, many countries or many counties still experience pockets of marginalization, Madam Speaker. And seriously, for this fund, it's long overdue. And it has hindered many residents from enjoying the benefits of the basic services, Madam Speaker. The bill, therefore, it is timely and necessary. For example, I'll touch on the key provincials and the geographical impact, Madam Speaker. The provincial clause 2 and 3 authorizes 16.8 billion to 16 billion, including it authorizes 16.8 billion for for the year 2025 and 2026, including 504 million for equalization fund secretarial operations, and also Kenya shillings 16.296 billion for development expenditure across 34 counties. Clause 4, Madam Speaker, explicitly excludes the funds from being deposited in the county revenue funds under Article 207. Clause 5 also does provide that approval for the projects will not lapse at the end of the financial year, and will also remain in force until all projects are completed. Clause 6, Madam Speaker, provides that disbursements require both the controller of budget, authorization and written instruction from the Equalization Fund Advisory Board, Madam Speaker, via the National Treasury. Madam Speaker, I realize this is quite significant, and that's the best, I'm looking at in this bill, because the bill honors our constitutional mandate to uplift all historical marginalized regions. I have seen Senator Mariam actually trying to compare, you know, the Mandera counties and the other counties, and I feel strongly that I feel for them. And I realize that the bill accelerates equity in development, giving vulnerable constituencies the infrastructure needed for education, healthcare, economic activity, and dignity. Healthcare is key here, Madam Speaker. When we moved around with the health committee to different counties, we realized that people are really in dire need of healthcare services. And I really wish we could have different counties with state-of-the-art hospitals that take care of Kenyans, Madam Speaker. For example, a county like Laikipia was taking care of about 5 to 6 counties. The Isiolo, the Marsabit, some of the Meru, and others were depending on Laikipia county on healthcare. Then we find other counties that don't operate, they don't even have theater services even after delivery or in case of any delivery, Madam Speaker. So seriously, the funds are long overdue that the Kenyans have been waiting for development. The geographic impact, Madam Speaker, excuse me. I've seen the bill affects over 70 constituencies across 34 counties, including Turkana, Wajir, West Pokot, Garissa, Tana River, and other identified as marginalized. The largest allocation I've seen, Madam Speaker, is Turkana with 1.86 billion, Narok with 1.25 billion, Mandera 1.22 billion, West Pokot 1.66 billion, and Samburu 1.05 billion. I think this is key, Madam Speaker. I seriously support the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill 2025 and urge for that reason that it's expedited and considered as historical when in fact, if we observe if we have observed the delays in the disbursement of these funds, Madam Speaker, often towards the end of financial year, let us act swiftly and timely to ensure that implementation and delivery of these services should be to the communities that need the services and development is moved as swiftly as possible. Madam Speaker, I think I'll only speak to that because many have discussed certain issues and I do not want to repeat what has been discussed. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Seki.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I also wish to put my voice to this important bill on the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill 2025. Madam Speaker, in the instant, I want to support this bill and support because it is true that there are counties that are yet behind others in this country, Honorable Speaker, in areas of development, particularly on infrastructure, Honorable Speaker. The marginalized counties, the semi-arid and arid counties, have really realized a very strong problems, or even big problems, on infrastructure, particularly water, roads, health services, Honorable Speaker. And this bill comes in a handy where we try to bring these counties to a level where the others are. Honorable Speaker, Looking at the county like Kajiado, which they have realized or they have benefited with 674, 525, 449 million, which Kajiado Central have been apportioned at 233 million, 919, 794. Kajiado South receiving 102, 681, 312, and Kajiado West receiving 337 million, 224, 343. Really, the Commission of Revenue Allocation has apportioned this through their, through the kind of research they have done, and they have realized it is true. These counties are these sub-counties are quite marginalized, Honorable Speaker. Looking at the county, a sub-county like Kajiado South, where you have very big wards with a big population, and you hardly get a road in one of a road that crosses the entire ward. People are using motorbikes, bicycles, even people even use foot to transact, even to go to market areas. Women getting very hardly for them to get even water to drink, not even to wash, or even to use washing themselves, or even cleaning their houses, Honorable Speaker. This is a bill that comes to equalize even other areas within the county, Honorable Speaker, rather than even the country, Honorable Speaker. Health services, we find that somebody would even go for almost 5, 6, 7 kilometers without even getting a health center or even a dispensary, Honorable Speaker. This bill comes in a hand where the county, through the board, the board of this bill, and the secretariat will realize this needs of these areas, such that they try now to put this project, Honorable Speaker. It is true that we've been having this bill all along, but we have a problem where the implementation of this bill is becoming a big problem. When we realize these funds, this money is being divided into small parts, or even into small projects of 2 million, 3 million, 1 million, which will not bring any impact in the county, Honorable Speaker. Our request, and as this House, the Senate should supervise, should also go through and look at how this money is being appropriated, or even being subdivided within the sub-county, or even within the ward, Honorable Speaker, so that we realize impact. We see impact within our wards. And it should not be left to governors to, give directions on how they use this fund. Because sometimes they go and, subdivide this money, allocate this money in very small units, small numbers, such that we are unable to realize the impact of the money, Honorable Speaker. I want to say that the kind of issues that we are seeing here, we want really to put a lot of strength, or even to fill some gaps, such that we don't see other pending bills coming in this kind of a bill, this monies, Honorable Speaker. We want to put a lot of restrictions, even in that bill, that appropriate, that also try to control the regulation that controls this bill should be put in place, such that we realize the gaps within the implementation of this bill. Honorable Speaker, I want to believe that awards like Kimana that have not been appropriated that bill in Kajiado North South, in Kajiado Central, Ildamat ward, which did not receive because they are also having some areas that needs to be allocated some funds, particularly electricity and such kind of services. A ward like Imaroro ward in Kajiado East. So I think these are the kind of things that we really need to follow up as the Senate so that we see those counties that have benefited as also realize this money within the sub-county and even within the wards that have a problem on areas of marginalization. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, I submit and support this bill. Thank you.
I'd like to call upon the mover to reply. I don't have any other contributor scheduled.
Madam Speaker, I thank you. And very briefly, in reply, I want to agree with the contributions of just about everybody, because we are all in agreement that this is a very important piece of legislation in respect of trying to equalize the country constitutionally. As I normally say, Mr. Speaker, in politics, I don't believe there is anything like the wrong opinion. To me, I always look at the opinion of a leader not as being wrong, but as the other opinion probably different from mine. But having said that, I'm paying to remind the House, even as you celebrate little allocations of around 21 million shillings from this kitty to your county, and in the process denying the original 14 counties that quantum that would have made a huge difference within a period of only 20 years, please remember that there is a difference between fighting marginalization and fighting poverty. This was a fund intended to fight marginalization, which had been put in place because of wrong policy that was founded in sessional paper number 10 of 1965, and the wrong attitude by governments in Nairobi that deliberately ignored certain constituencies in this country, Mr. Speaker. So even as you do so, you must know that that was the spirit of the Constitution, to address this marginalization in a period of only 20 years. The factor which now seems to be under play of using this fund to fight poverty, you are wrong. Poverty is fought through the formula. That is why poverty has a weighting index of 12%. It will be there in perpetuity. But fighting marginalization was supposed to be righted in a period of only 20 years. And I saw, Speaker, you got it very well when you're making your presentation, that now that we are in year number 13, the sunset clause should now be reviewed. If we don't review it, then the intended benefit will have been lost. I wanted to say only that much on this, and Madam Speaker, I reply. And pursuant to Standing Order number 66.3, I'm replying. You'll have a chance. Relax. Pursuant to Standing Order number 66.3, I request that the putting of the question to be deferred to a later date. And I thank you.
Honorable Senators, I'd like to get back to an item that was deferred by the Speaker, order number 6, the notice of motion. Please call it out. Sorry. The question to the motion just ended on equalization fund appropriation bill is deferred to tomorrow. So next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Is it order number? Which order number is it? Senator Karen Nyamu.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'd like to give a notice of motion, installation of CCTV cameras in all police station cells and police reporting desks. Aware that Article 51 of the Constitution provides that a person who is detained, held in custody or imprisoned under the law retains all rights and fundamental freedoms in the Bill of Rights, except to the extent that any particular right or a fundamental freedom is clearly incompatible with the fact that the person is detained, held in custody, or imprisoned. Further, aware that the National Task Force on Improvement of the Terms and Conditions of Service and other reforms for members of the National Police Service and Kenya Prison Service recommended adequate government funding for the National Police Service to modernize its facilities, equipment, and gear, and enhance its logistical and technological capabilities for National Police Service officers in order to enable the service discharge its mandate efficiently and effectively. Cognizant that the Bill of Rights provides for protection of all human rights, prevention of abuse, and upholding of the rule of law within detention facilities and police stations, concerned that there has been increasing reports of human rights violations, abuse, unexpected injuries, and deaths in custody, as well as security breaches and escapes from police cells across the country. Further, concerned that despite the recommendation by the Justice Maraga Task Force, little or no efforts has been made to ensure modernization of police cells by installation of closed-circuit television, CCTV cameras, and police reporting desks, thereby affecting public trust and accountability in what happens to persons in police custody. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves that the national government, through the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, 1, installs functional and tamper-proof CCTV cameras in all police stations and cells and police reporting desks across the country. 2, ensures that all CCTV systems are monitored in real time and that footage is securely stored and made accessible during investigations, judicial processes, and 3, provides the necessary resources, technical support, and training to law enforcement officers for the effective operation and maintenance of CCTV systems and continuous digitization of occurrence book platforms. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I have a communication to make on visiting teachers and students from Meteitei Secondary School in Nandi County. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of visiting teachers and students from Meteitei Secondary School in Nandi County. The delegation comprises 8 teachers and 156 students who are in the Senate for a one-day academic exposition. Honourable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I thank you. Senator Cherarkey, Senator Fonandi, you may wish to welcome the team.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to join you and other colleagues in welcoming Meteitei High School in Tindred Sub-County or Tindred constituency in Nandi County. I know they have been privileged to have watched notice of motion by Senator Karen Nyamu and, of course, the reply to the bill by Senator Boni Kalwale, who is coincidentally the neighbor to Nandi County. And Madam Speaker, Meteitei High School is one of the best schools. Of course, after what yours truly went to, Kapsawet Boys High School, is one of the topmost. Alongside is Meteitei High School. And we are proud of the boys. I know we are doing a lot in that school in terms of infrastructure. I hope they grow to be men of courage, brave. Madam Speaker, it will be of interest that this school is situated in Tindred constituency, where the vibrant, the famous seven bearded sisters, Jean Maria Serone, was a member of Parliament. And coincidentally, Jean Maria Serone, for your information, Madam Speaker, was my grandfather. So that constituency is one of the best, and we are proud. I want to wish them well, work hard. One day and one time you'll be able to sit in some of these leadership positions. We wish you well. Learn as much as you can. The future belongs to all of you. The only advantage you have over us is age. You are still young, you can make. Madam Speaker, with that indulgence, thank you very much, and I wish them all the best. I thank you.
Honourable Senators, as per earlier ruling by the Speaker, we now move on to order number 18.
Order number 18, the County Government's Additional Allocations number 2 Bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2025, second reading.
Who's doing it for Majority Leader? Is that Whip? Thank you. Finance Committee. It's Finance Committee, sir.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I rise to move motion number 18, being the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill 2025. And Mr. Speaker, because sometimes members of the public follow these proceedings, it's good for us to clarify to them what we mean by County Government Additional Allocation Bill. Basic. And this is a bill that provides for additional allocation of money to county governments. This money comes in two limbs. The first limb, the money is given conditionally, and the other one, it is given unconditionally. Where it is given conditionally in this law, it means that the money must be spent on the specified reason for which the money has been given. And unconditionally, it means you spend it as you like. Let me give you an example. Let's say the money realized from court fines. Once you realize that money, you are not obligated to spend it on a specific thing. It is money that has gone into the county revenue account, and therefore you spend. But the one which now goes to county revenue account as conditional, it goes there probably from proceeds of grants, from loans. Then it specifies that you shall use it for water or some other activity, Madam Speaker. Having said that, may I also clarify that additional allocations are strictly processed by my committee, Committee of Finance, concurrent to your recommendations when in this House you debated and passed the budget policy statement. Madam Speaker, these additional funds, they are specifically provided for in the Constitution, Article 202, Sub-Article 2 of our Constitution. And additional allocations, Madam Speaker, are required for transfer for functions from national government to county governments pursuant to standing order number, to article, not standing order, article number 87 of the Constitution, and additionally, additional allocations in the form of loans and grants from development partners. Madam Speaker, I have already spoken to what does it mean by unconditional allocation. Allow me to speak to it more technically by further clarifying, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I found that members of the public truly follow these proceedings, and some of them are professionals. So if you're not careful, they can wonder whether you're speaking Greek in a house that has got only students who speak English. Madam Speaker, these grants and conditional allocations are to the beneficiary county governments from proceeds of court fines emanating from contravention of county government legislation, as set out in column A, which is in this schedule that is attached to the bill for those of you who will take trouble to go through it. And then also, and conditional allocations to the beneficiary county governments emanate from 20% of the share of minerals royalties pursuant to the provisions of the Mining Act. Madam Speaker, county additional allocations that are due to each condition, to each county, they come from the national government's share of revenue. And this share of revenue in this particular bill is specifically for the year 2025-2026 and shall be set out in the schedule which is attached. I will not go dissecting the details of the second schedules because it just speaks to the institutions that are advancing that money in the form of the actual names of the development partners. There are quite many. So when you scan the schedule, you will by yourself see it. Madam Speaker, there is an aspect to these allocations which is deliberately put to incentivize governors, to incentivize county governments and the county assemblies so that they can be rewarded for prudent management of resources. Allow me to specify this very important issue, and governors and MCS listening into this debate.
Senator Nyamu, can you walk out and speak from out? You cannot speak on phone loudly while the session is going on. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I need that I be very clear on this one, on incentivization. The governors who steal funds, who do not manage the funds well, they lose out on the following monies, because this law rewards good manners, rewards performance, and it says to those who will not fall short of the glory. 1, Kenya shillings 75 million will be due for each county.
Senator Cherarki, what is your point of order?
Madam Speaker, Standing Order 105 and 101, Madam Speaker, I've had the benefit of reading this bill. There is nowhere that says we are being rewarded for having good manners. So is it in order for the great senator who says public are watching to mislead the public that we are being rewarded for giving good manners, Madam Speaker?
Senator Gerard-Kade, I don't think that Senator said the Act says it is rewarding for good manners. I don't recall that. Proceed, Senator.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to urge Senator Sergei, the medium of communication in this House is either Swahili or English. It is never Kiluya or Kalenjin. So when we choose to speak in English, Madam Speaker, he should make an effort and understand the specific words used. The word I used, Madam Speaker, for clarity is incentivize. I never talked about rewarding. Now, as an old boy of Kapsabet High School, your teacher who taught you English must be wondering what became of my student. Madam Speaker, Kenya shillings 75 million for each county government that has increased its own source revenue by at least 5% annually over the above rate of inflation.
Senator Gerard-Kade, what's your point of order?
Madam Speaker, contents of Standing Order 101 on contents of speech. If Senator Kalwale wants to discuss my character and my ability, he should bring a substantive. And you know, Madam Speaker, I cannot allow this to go. There is a day he referred to me that I went to Kumbaro School, and it is unanswered. In fact, Madam Speaker, this issue of allowing Senator Kalwale to get away with some of these things, in fact, is not, Madam Speaker, the last time he said I went to Kumbaro School, and it is unanswered. I request your principal clerks even to give you that clip, Madam Speaker. So can he withdraw and apologize?
Senator Halwale, for insinuating that the English of Senator Gerard-Kade is wanting, can you please withdraw and apologize?
Madam Speaker, I have quickly withdrawn those remarks and profusely apologize not only to the senator, but also the family of Kapsabet High School, led by the teacher who taught him English. But I don't know whether he got 100% in English. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, the second recognition will be Kenya shillings, 75 million shillings for each county government that will have prepared and implemented an action plan so as to reduce the stock of pending bills and maintain it at minimum levels. This is so important. The pending bills hanging around in Kisumu County, hanging around in Kakamega and everywhere, we are rewarding governors by 75 million if they make an attempt to maintain the stock of those pending bills at the lowest amount. And then Kenya shillings 97,500,000 for each county government that will have integrated its human resource records, authorized staff establishment and payroll, and uploaded cleaned payrolls in the human resource management information system. In this, we are attempting to recognize the importance of eradicating ghost workers. So if we see the human resource management in the county government is taking this effort, there's a reward of 95 million shillings, 500,000. Fourthly, allow me, Madam Speaker, to switch off my phone. It's distracting me. Sorry, Madam Speaker. These things, I got them in Nairobi. They are not in Kakamega. So I don't know how to manage them very quickly.